It's springtime. Take a breath, enjoy life, serve somebody. Ask your question, who can I serve today? Start wherever you start. Start where you are with presence. This idea that the present is the gift from God, it's the real deal. And then start planting seeds. If you would like to actually design your landscape to be productive, then we must compost the fiat. Take your money out of the systems of destruction and enslavement and create your own Garden of Eden in your own backyard. Help us put food forests in schools, prisons, city parks. And when we raise up the most suffering among us, everybody wins at scale.
In today's busy world, how can we find the inspiration, knowledge, and energy to live a healthy and empowered life? If we balance and harmonize our mind, exercise our body, live according to the laws of nature, and connect to spirit, can we find a way to heal, become our authentic self, and live our purpose with love? I am your hostess, Amy Fournier, and welcome back to Awakening Aphrodite. I know you love music. I know you know how powerful sound is as a healing tool that we all can use. Haven't you had a day where you were in a bad mood or low energy and you put on a song you loved, or maybe it just came on the radio and you started singing and it changed your whole day? Or maybe you didn't feel like working out, or you started getting tired and then a song came on that had a great beat and you all of a sudden got a burst of energy. Or maybe you need to chill out at the end of the night, which I often do. And you really need to just calm yourself down without doing anything destructive or taking any kind of substances, if you know what I mean. Well, guess what? I got you covered. Listening to Smile is my favorite resource for frequency-balanced music. My buddy Ian Morris, who was on my show twice, by the way, and you might want to check it out, episode 73 and 156, Ian Morris, the founder of Listening to Smile, came on my show. What is it? Well, they basically blend ancient sacred frequency wisdom as well as chakra frequencies, planetary frequencies, the Schumann resonances, and the solfeggio frequencies with modern technology. And they put it into music for us to listen to help balance ourselves. I mean, come on, is that brilliant? Thank you, Ian Morris and your team. You can subscribe to their monthly membership. Well, get this, they send you once a month in your email a quick little MP3 file, and it's coherent with the astrology, the stars, the planetary movements of that month. I mean, talk about getting dialed in, my friend. That's why I need you to know about Listening to Smile. It's amazing. It's beautiful. You can find out more on my website, amyfournier.com. Go to the e-store. Look for Listening to Smile, and make sure you use my special coupon code FITAMYTV. That's FITAMYTV at checkout, and you can save a lot of money. Hey, you know how picky I am, right? I have very high standards in my life, and that's why I'm so thrilled to share with you a company that not only has high standards and values that align with mine, but also makes products that promote health and do what they're supposed to do, and they taste great. This company is Paleo Valley. I love their pasture-raised turkey sticks and their apple cider vinegar complex, and I even love their protein bars. Oh my gosh, I mean, forewarning, they're totally delicious, and you might completely get addicted like I am, but they're worth it because you can enter my coupon code AmyFournier10 at checkout and save 10%. Just have fun shopping there. You can rest assured that everything there is healthy, is made with integrity, and you're getting what you think you're getting, which you can't always be assured of in this day and age, unfortunately. But don't worry, I got you. Please let me know your favorites. You can find me at FitAmyTV on Instagram, and of course on YouTube at Awakening Aphrodite Podcast. Welcome back to Awakening Aphrodite with Amy Fournier. This show is about helping you to be healthy and fit in mind, body, and spirit, as well as harmonize your masculine and feminine energy, tap into your intuition, your true source of power, and awaken your authentic self. Today, I hope you are ready for a fireball coming right at you. a fireball of good news, of optimism, of hope, and of strategy. How we can empower ourselves to be healthy and fit in mind, body, and spirit. This show is going to rock your world, my friends, and it's bringing the good news, which is absolutely my pleasure to do. My guest today is Jim Gale. Jim Gale of Food Forest Abundance is back with us today. As you will hear, he is passionate. He is intelligent. He is full of facts and hope and optimism. And best of all, he's a living example of how life can be when you are tapped in to your higher self, to your source, to living naturally and being interested in serving other people as well as serving yourself. You're going to love this episode. And I want to share with you that this is a very timely episode for me because, as you probably know if you subscribe to the show, I finally found my dream home, and I'm in the process of learning how to be a good steward of this beautiful property that I now have been entrusted to keep. So I am doing a deep dive into studying about nature and soil and the ecosystem and stuff like composting and how poop can be really super valuable and essential to grow healthy plants, which will obviously become us and make us healthy, and the cycle of life. And it's been a completely, I will admit, overwhelming at times. And sometimes I completely have panic attacks because I have no idea what I'm doing and can't even believe how much I don't know. But it's also exciting and empowering at the same time. So maybe you're in that position too. And I invite you to walk the journey with me as we learn together, because I don't know about you, but most people in my world have no idea about really how food is grown and how to grow their own food. Do you grow your own food? Do you filter your own water? Do you know what goes into these kind of things? I mean, most of us go to the store and buy stuff that's already packaged and all the heavy lifting's been done for us. And not to mention, if you're eating any kind of animal products, you're not doing any of the butchering or any of that rendering of the animal foods. So we're very disconnected from that. And unfortunately, that leads to us being disconnected from our own nature, from life itself, and understanding the holistic and cyclical nature of all of life. So I'm super excited that I will be doing this deep dive of learning how to grow vegetables, I'm going to grow a medicinal herb garden, and I'm going to have some small livestock like chickens so I can have fresh, truly organic, free-range eggs. Because unfortunately, in this day and age, the only way to really know what you're putting in your body and to control what you're putting in your body and what you're not putting in your body, which is just as important, is to really cultivate your own food. Not to mention, it's going to save you a lot of money in the long run. And what I've learned is it also has an indirect effect of connecting you to source and to yourself and to that small, still voice within and that big, loud voice without. So Jim Gale is back on the show. You probably heard him on his first appearance, episode 84, that rocked everybody's world. It's one of the all-time favorite shows of all of our subscribers to Awakening Aphrodite, where we talked about liberating your mind, your lawn, and your future. And I definitely recommend you go back and listen to 84 again, because we give a lot of Jim's backstory and we go into more detail about his fantastic company, Food Forest Abundance, which is also on my website, because what they do is they have an online presence where they can have an expert designer help you customize whatever situation you got going, whether you're an apartment or a sprawling estate out in the country. They will help assess what your soil's like, what your climate's like, what the seasons are like, what your water level is like, what your goals are, what your needs are, what your time availability is. If you don't have any time to water plants and prune trees, or you don't have any interest in livestock, what you can do, what will work, what won't work. And it's just a gem. It's a beautiful service they provide to the world. So please check that out on my website, eStore. And if you can book just an information call, which is free, with one of their consultants, just to get more information, to find out if it's something you might want to do for yourself. And if you do decide to do it, make sure you use my coupon code so you can save some money. And that's Fit Amy TV. All that's on my website, eStore, under recommended products, in case you forget. Now, some of the other episodes you might be interested in, if you're interested in this kind of topic, also include episode 98, The Truth About Organic, Natural, and Biodynamic and Regenerative Foods and Farming, with Jared Picard. Episode 124, GMOs and Essential Facts About the U.S. Food Industry, as well as Alzheimer's and Autism, with Zen Honeycutt from Moms Across America. That's 124. And episode 105 with Autumn Smith from Paleo Valley, another one of my favorite products that's in my eStore. All right, so I'm thrilled to have Jim back on the show. I know you're going to love this. And this episode with him, I really tap into his powerful mind because, like I said, he is a living example of someone who is walking the talk and got it all dialed in, mind, body, and spirit. And I ask him, what are his mental habits? What does he do to keep himself aligned and tapped in spiritually and emotionally? And simple habits that we can all do, not to mention how to use our own imagination and visualization skills and abilities to manifest our dream life like he did and like he does. I'm so excited to bring you this episode, and I'm super grateful to have you here. So please do check out Food Forest Abundance on my website. And if you want to follow me on my journey of learning how to be a gardener and a caretaker of animals and really learning about all this stuff myself, let's do it together. I'm on Instagram at FitAmyTV and Facebook, my name, Amy Fournier. Now let's join Jim Gale. And we're back, everybody. Welcome back to Awakening Aphrodite with Amy Fournier and my guest, the one, the only, the amazing Jim Gale.
Amy, thank you so much for having me on your show today. I'm very excited to share the solution to all of our individual and the world's biggest problems here on your show. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, Jim, let's just kick that right off because that's quite a statement. The solution. I love this because, of course, this is what I wanted to get into with you. I know that's a big part of your message, that you've got the solution. And for 2024, a big part of my show, which has been in existence for a few years, has been after the whiplash from the whole wake up call that we all had in 2019, was it, when the whole debacle happened. I vowed this year, 2024, that, okay, no more doom and gloom. We all know all the bad stuff that we are, this is the unveiling, right? Yeah. But let's now focus on solutions, what we can do. This is a beautiful moment. We can be empowered. There are solutions. We will pull through this. Jim, kick it off. What do you got for us for solutions, my friend?
Well, I like reverse engineering the idea whose time has come stronger than all of the armies of the world. And as Napoleon Hill said in his book, Think and Grow Rich, after studying the most successful minds in history, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Well, that led me, those sentiments, those quotes that are much more than quotes, right? Those concepts led me to asking a bunch of questions. Right. And another one I'll throw out is Sun Tzu. He wrote the book, The Art of War. He's the most read and cited and studied war strategist in the history of the world. And he said, know thyself, know thy enemy. 1,000 battles, 1,000 victories. If everybody listening just writes those quotes down and meditates on their meaning, it will radically, I believe, change your lives. Because once we know who we are, then all fear goes away. And fear is the ultimate poison. It's the ultimate control mechanism. And it's the ultimate ignorance. Because fear lacks faith. It lacks the awareness of who we truly are and what we are truly here to do. Right? So if we're going to reverse engineer this solution, the first step is what's possible. And this is not a hypothetical statement. In fact, I'll walk you around a little bit.
I love it.
Yes, I am walking through a food forest. It's a lot like what I imagine the Garden of Eden would be like. Wow. It's a place of radical abundance. There's some mulberry trees. In fact, this mulberry, which can grow in zones all the way from Minnesota to Costa Rica, look at all the mulberries coming in on that.
Jim, I'm just going to interject. Guys, if you are not on YouTube to watch this video, go over to Awakening Aphrodite Podcast, Fit Amy TV. You got to check out this video. Jim, please continue.
All right. So this is a mulberry tree, and it's got thousands of mulberries coming in now. This is a cherry tree, and there's moringa and avocado and lemons and limes and sugar cane. And this is a Jamaican cherry tree. Now, why am I pointing out these fruit trees and this ground cover? This is called perennial peanut. Now, these flowers are not only beautiful, but they're medicine.
He's eating them. This is awesome. I love it.
They're so good. They taste sweet and delicious. It's like eating sunlight. It's so delicious.
Which is what you're doing, actually. You literally are. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, you're eating the energy that Mother Nature, God, Source, whatever perspective you like to look at this from, this checks all the boxes. When we take our poisons out and we say no to the force and violence of all forms of tyranny, fear and the poisons being some of those forms, that sounds ridiculously simple. And actually, it was about 17 years ago, it was 2007, when I learned what was going on. I had my first 2 daughters. I now have 4 daughters. And I also learned a agricultural design science called permaculture. And when I first learned this science, I was studying the problem very deeply. And I had created a mortgage company that did about $1.3 billion in revenue in 3.5 years. And I had sold it. So I had a lot of time. And I studied the problem every day for 12 hours a day. I became kind of obsessed with the problem. Well, a lot of people are doing that in our world today. A lot of people are just waking up to the fact that the governmente, which that word means mind control, is not supporting us and is not serving us. And they're starting to go down these rabbit holes, and everybody is experiencing this cognitive dissonance, which are 2 competing belief systems in our brains at the same time. And a lot of people are diseased and stressed and concerned and fearful. Well, the first thing we must do is turn off all of the fear porn, all of the media, and go connect with yourself again. That's number 1, to connect with who we truly are, the vibration, the frequency, the energy of spirit, of God, of Source. And then through that presence, that connection, then what's going to happen is we're going to start becoming inspired again. And so through that process of waking up to who I am, I started realizing that the solution is all around us. When we start stewarding our land again and start serving ourselves, our families, and our communities, right? When we focus our energy towards service and stewardship, something absolutely magical happens. And we become alive again. We become well again, because this is an innate human condition that through the act of service and stewardship and love, we get what we want. So the most selfish thing that I could ever do is to love and serve you. The most selfish thing I could ever do is to love and serve the land and God and nature. Because by doing so, We put this in 2 years ago. This was sand. There was no life here. It was just death. Now, look at this place.
All green. It's all green.
Yep. And look at the basil. Look at the moringa. Look at these bananas coming in everywhere. It's paradise. And by the way, everybody's invited here because, again, what I'm sharing with you, Amy, and everybody listening, this is not a hypothetical solution to mass extinction and deforestation. It's not a hypothetical solution to cancer and diabetes and heart disease and hunger and tyranny. This is a livable solution. This is a solution that everybody on our planet should have and can have. The question is, and this goes to Martin Luther King's sentiment. He said, when those who love peace learn to organize as well as those who love war, then we shall have peace. So my question obsessively has been, how do we do that? And now we've got it and we're changing the world.
Just incredible. I mean, this is, like I mentioned in the introduction, everybody, you see what I'm talking about? Like this, Jim, I could listen to you forever. I find you just so incredibly, deeply motivating, that your message of hope, and this is a big part of what so many people need to hear, is, you know, I totally agree that your first step, our first step, is to get in touch with ourselves. And I'll also add, in addition to your suggestion of turning off the program box, which is the TV, finding people like Jim, people that do inspire you. Hello, butterfly. Finding people that are bringing the message of hope, but backing it up with tangible evidence of the action that they are demonstrating. They are walking the walk. They're talking the talk. You know, they are healthy and vivacious. They are the type of person that you want to be more like. This is like the fruits of the tree. You know the tree by the fruits, right? So this is all we need to show what is working. And I love your point of this is very feasible. You know, we're not buying into these arguments like it's utopian and you can't feed the world and all that. Yeah, we can. Yeah, we can. And it's doable for the everyday person, which is the other big thing.
It is the other big thing. And I can hear all the BS going through people's minds, the belief systems that are often programmed into our mind via governmente and bad science, right? Like this whole idea of our current agricultural system is absolutely destructive and wrong. Right now in the United States, there are about 890 million acres of farmland which is being mined. The soil and the resources and the nutrients are being mined and destroyed by the industry of farming. Well, it's such a simple thing. People say, how can we have too many people on this planet. We have to depopulate this planet. It's all lies based in the narrative of scarcity. In fact, just the farmland that we have in the United States could easily feed 10 billion people. And with some permaculture design and the proper use of resources, we could feed 20 billion people. So how do we catalyze a shift in awareness? Because awareness is the first step. There is no choice without an awareness of choice. So how do we catalyze a shift? Right? How do we bring together a shift in awareness that leads to mass adoption of taking the poisons out, fear, glyphosate, Roundup, all the poisons, and instead supplanting them with natural solutions? Well, we know exactly how to do it. We work through people like you, Amy, influencers, and everybody is an influencer. Now, you might only be able to influence yourself at the moment. And if that's where you could start, that's the best place to start. Right? Start by influencing yourself to feel good and to eat healthy and to take the poisons out of your own lives. Then, as you start getting healed from the trauma and disease, then you'll have so much extra energy that you'll be able to use that energy to help heal other people. And then as you continue to heal other people, and then they continue to heal other people, boom, we literally, well, you mentioned it. We are in the apocalypse, the great reveal, the ascension. The golden age is literally upon us. And it's just a matter of us to claim it.
You know, when your first appearance on the show, episode 84, like I mentioned in the introduction, was just, you know, you just hit it out of the park. You gave a lot of your background story of, you know, kind of your rags to riches manifestation of you turned the whole thing around. We went into, of course, the food forest abundance community and resource that you created. And I know we're going to talk about that, but I'd like for you to share with us, Jim. So I refer everybody back to that episode to get a lot of the backstory for sure. And I know they're going to want to hit that up. Even if you already heard it, go listen to it again, because I'll admit I actually re-listened to it in preparation of today's discussion. And, you know, it's just that old saying, you know, you pick up a book you haven't read in 10 years and you read different stuff, or you're just a different person 10 years later. So when I listen to it now, I picked up all new stuff again, and it was like hearing it for the first time. So I really encourage everybody to go back and listen to that. But what I would love for you to share with us is your magnificent mindset. Okay, a big part of my show is mind, body, spirit, health, and wellness. Okay, I would love to tap into Jim Gale's philosophy on mind, body, spirit, health. So if you could tell us, let's start with the mind. Okay, how can we get healthy in our mind?
Number one is to be aware that you can heal, right? To have the hope and the joy and the knowledge that you can heal, right? Because a lot of people, they don't know that healing is even a potential for them. Everybody listening has trauma. Everybody listening has fear in some areas of their life, unless there's some real sages here. Everybody has erroneous areas of belief systems. Right? The number one thing is to sit quietly in a room alone. In fact, it's better to sit with your ground on the earth, right? Take your shoes off. And by the way, this is real, my friends. Grounding is absolutely real. And I just had it proven to me beyond I already knew intuitively that it was real. But the other day I was at my friend John Baxter's place. He won Bloomberg's Healer of the Year award. And he said, Jim, I've got something to show you. And we walked outside with this little electrical device. And he said, hold this electrical thing. And I grabbed a hold of it, and I had rubber-soled shoes on. And he had this little thing. It was like an EMF reader or something. And it showed a number like in the thousands. And I'm like, I don't know what that number even means. But he goes, that is the EMFs that are going through you that you are registering on this little device. And so he goes, now put your hand on the ground. And so I'm holding this little device with one hand, and I put my other hand on the ground, and it went to zero immediately. And I'm like, what's going on? So I did it several times. I lifted my hand up, thousands. I put it back on the ground, zero. What does that mean? That means that there's EMFs, there's some type of electromagnetic frequency in the ether that is going into my body that is not coming out like it naturally should. For the history of humanity, people walked with moccasins or leather on their feet or bare feet. Now we're walking with rubber-soled shoes, which completely disconnect us, and oftentimes on concrete or on tile. So take your shoes off, sit in a forest, and take some deep breaths. Focus on the breath and observe your mind. Become the observer of your mind. And then to recognize that the ego, right? Think of the term edging God out, right? The ego is the illusion that we are not part of the divine, part of nature or God or source, right? To me, it's all the same beautiful wellspring of life. But the ego is the illusion. The ego is the artificial, right? And It's no coincidence that we are going through the ascension of human consciousness at the same time as AI is expanding exponentially, right? It's all divine. Here's how I look at it. I look at this like a divine game or experience, right? Several other cultures call it Leela, the divine game. Yeah. That's how I love to play in this world. And then with that knowing, it's all about the new questions, right? This idea of affirmations are wonderful, right? They are part of the way there. But when you ask a question, that's the opposite of some dis-ease that you are experiencing, it gets way better. Like, instead of why did that person leave me, say, why am I so free? Or what am I free to do now? I'm free. Why am I free to have somebody love me who resonates with who I am and who wants to do good things, right? So tweak it, turn it around by asking the new question related to your own goals and desires.
Yes. So it's like the importance, number one, the importance of asking the question. But to your point, it's about asking the right kind of question rather than like the other day, I don't know, I didn't feel well. Oh, I was really, really tired, Jim. And basically I was walking around going, why am I so tired? What's wrong with me? Why am I so tired? I shouldn't be tired. I slept a full night's sleep. I had good food. I'm not dehydrated. I'm going through the checklist, right? And I'm like, and all of a sudden I'm like, wait a minute. Listen to the question I'm asking. Why am I so tired? Why? Like, change that around. It's like I had to ask a new question. Like, what can I do to feel like I have more energy? Was my new question. What does my body need right now? Like, what usually makes me feel better? Like, I started asking different questions.
Wow. Those are fantastic questions. What usually makes me feel better? Like, I just remembered that one. That's going to be a fun one.
Okay.
What usually makes me feel better? That's just fantastic. I'm going to share that one with my wife and family. Yay. Because it just opens up the door.
Yes. It's a different question to direct your brain to find that answer rather than what's wrong with you. Well, my body would be like, well, let me give you a list. How much time you got? It's like, no. Let's ask a better question so we can get a productive answer,
Yes. And this has been so pivotal for me. I've got a master's in what's called neuro-linguistic programming.
Thank you.
Right? I got this, like, I don't know how many, it was like 2.5 decades ago. And then I started recognizing that our brains are very much like computers. And we can program our own brains instead of having the programs program our brains, the culture and the media and so on. So I started recognizing how important it is to be aware of self-talk, right? Which you alluded to just a second ago. Self-talk is literally the program that we create for ourselves, which is what our life becomes. Our life becomes our self-talk and our self-programming. So when we become aware of every little bit of self-talk that either controls or programs or brings us down or to a place that we don't really want to be, then through that awareness, we can then ask a new question and change that.
I'm so glad that you talked about that. Jim, do you have anything that you personally do to program your mind the way that you want with all the obstacles and things and that you must encounter in your incredible career? Well, anything that you can share with us that you do? Like, I know some people start the morning with 10, 15 minutes of spiritual uplifting reading or just something that's a habit that you do.
Yes, several. The first couple of habits are I wake up and I sit quietly for quite some time and I imagine a beautiful day. And I ask questions around what I would like to accomplish in the day. And then I just breathe and I feel the frequency, the energy, the vibration of God. And then I get up and rock it. The other thing is, before I go to bed, I do the same thing. I just breathe and I'm thankful for the day, thankful for all the things in my life, my wife, my family, and all the abundance that is around us. The most important thing that I've really begun practicing now is, can you see this chair over here?
Yep.
It is with the copper pyramid. That is my meditation spot. Now, I don't use meditation like a lot of people, think meditation is just sitting quietly, with your legs crossed or something and maybe doing some noises, right? Meditation for me is an all-day experience. However, when I really want to go deep, I sit here with my feet on the ground. In fact, I've got a real quick story. You want to hear it?
Of course we do. Yes.
Okay. So I was sitting here in October and my feet on the ground, my phone was at my feet, and I was visualizing and imagining what this area, this property here in Central Florida will look like in the years to come.
Wow.
And I was imagining how all these fruit trees are going to grow up and to create a jungle of food. And I had an animal rescue center when I lived in Costa Rica with monkeys and spider monkeys and monotitis and all this amazing creatures because I love animals. So all of a sudden in my vision came scarlet macaws and toucans and monkeys and lemurs. And then I said, oh my God, this isn't just a place of incredible plants, but this is also a sanctuary for animals. We already have an incredible amount of wildlife here that wasn't here before. And then I started thinking, well, wait a minute. Not only will Galt's Landing here be a sanctuary, and I actually started thinking we could bring in mating pairs of endangered animals. And then I thought, wait a minute. We could have these at all of our Freedom Farm academies. And that's what we call this system, because we want to scale this globally to change the world. And we are fast. So we can turn all of our Freedom Farm academies into animal sanctuaries and add another function. And that's the function of reversing the sixth mass extinction. And as soon as I had that thought, then this thought came in. This is like Noah's Ark in the real, like Noah's Ark in the land, in a way that's doable. And then as soon as I had that thought, the phone rang and I was stunned to presence. In fact, I feel like crying right now. I started sobbing. Noah was calling me. As soon as I had the idea of Noah's Ark, I got a phone call from Noah. So this guy's name used to be Adam, and 6 years ago, he got a calling to change his name to Noah.
Oh, he literally is Noah. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's literally Noah. His name is Noah.
Wow.
Now, and I had only spoke to this guy one time a month before for 10 minutes, and we weren't expected to communicate. And I was shaking, and I called him back. I said, Noah, why did you call me just now? And he said, well, I was pinged 3 times. The first 2 times I ignored it. And by the 3rd time, I realized that I needed to call you. And I was just shaking. All of these things that are happening, and these types of synchronicities are happening all day long now. They're happening every day. And I recognize that Newtonian physics and this Darwinian belief system, it's all BS. That's not how the world works. The world is made up of energy, frequency, and vibration, and God. And this is the manifestation of a clear and conscious and joyful mind. And everybody can have this.
You know, synchronicities happen when you are tapped in. You were obviously tapped in. And so you were on that frequency, and then boom, Katie barred the door. Here they come. Well, I love your idea of the sanctuary. As you know, I've got Food Force Abundance on my website store because I'm a huge fan. I'm all about the solutions, helping people like me who have no clue how to grow a tomato, getting support, getting professional help from world-class experts who will literally look at our personal situation, whether it be a small apartment in the city or a little plot of land with 1/4 of an acre in a suburb or something bigger, and looking at the topography of the land, the ecoclimate, the seasonal changes, the indigenous plants, what kind of creatures are there, what are your needs, what are your goals, what are your availability, and literally time warping it to help, boom, dial you right in. Okay, these are the types of plants that will work well at your house. This would work well with your soil. Here's what you need to do about your water table to make sure you can irrigate your lawn or whatever, support your livestock. Your company is just killing it right now and out of the park. I'm so thrilled to have it on my website. And I really encourage people listening and watching to please do their free discovery call. Just call and check it out and see if it might be something that can work for you. Because Jim, we are all about creating empowerment, sovereignty. Everyone listening and watching knows the importance of our diet, getting that right, clean water, fresh air. We're all on the same page. But how do we actually do it in our busy lifestyle? Well, Food Forest Abundance is a big part of that answer because you are helping us learn how to bring it home, do it, grow that little garden, even if it's tiny, who cares? Get started and watch it kind of ripple from there, right?
That's exactly right. Everything starts with intention and then design. Once we have the awareness of what's possible, then we want for nothing less. And then we design that into our lives. So the permaculture design team, I'm so proud of them and so amazed by them because they're really, really good at what they do.
Yep.
They'll take a piece of land, even a small piece, like we've got this 20 diameter circle, 20-foot diameter circle up there, and we could put 30 different food producing plants in that one little circle, right? Because permaculture, a food forest is layers of food. So as ground cover, we could have, or even underground, we can have sweet potatoes and turmeric and ginger, and there's all sorts of roots and tubers. And then you've got your herbaceous layer with a lot of mushrooms and medicinals and herbs. And then you've got shorter shrubs and taller bushes and shorter fruit trees and taller fruit trees. And then you've got vines that go up them. So we can take a small area of land and turn it into a stacked food forest with a lot of different plants. And it's the most logical use. The best part about this landscape, well, I mean, there's a lot of best parts. The fact that I can walk outside my house and without being a farmer, I do not grow food, right? I didn't grow this Jamaican cherry tree. It grows itself. What we do is we design the guilds. A guild is a community of plants that support each other, right? You've got your nitrogen fixers, your beneficial insect attractors, and then your chop and drop and all these different types of plants in the permaculture world. When you put those together in a system, you can literally walk away from the system. Like we could walk away from this food forest and come back in 30 years, and 30 years from now, it would not only be a jungle of food here, but it would spread hundreds, if not thousands of miles because the wind, the rain, the water, the birds come in, the animals, and they spread the seeds.
And this is part of what I love about it, because what we want people to understand is that this is very doable for the typical person. And I love what you said, who doesn't want to be the farmer or doesn't have time to be the farmer. And you're taking something that's a liability that costs you money to pay a landscaper, to mow the grass, to trim it back, all that stuff that when you think about it, guys, it's just for aesthetics, right? It's just to kind of keep up with the Joneses and have your neighbors not be mad at you that your lawn's not a disaster, but it's not producing anything of value to your life. It's costing you money to maintain it. And what Jim is saying is when he refers to food forest, he's saying, why don't you take that land, that property, and grow something on it that can help you, that actually will contribute to your life and contribute to your health and is going to save you money because you're not going to buy as many groceries because you're growing some of your own food and you're supporting the environment around you. It's a relationship with the earth, with the ecoculture, with the trees and the birds, and it's all together. I mean, that's part of my prayer every morning is, please, to my property, I say, please teach me how to support you. Like, I don't know. And then what do you know? Jim Gale and Food Forest comes out of nowhere. And now I'm working with Kaylin, your amazing designer, who's a dream come true.
Yeah.
I mean, he's taught me that, he can tell me there's certain plants that I can put on the perimeter of my property that will keep predators away from my chickens because they don't like the smell. Like I don't know that. That's incredible. I don't have to spray any toxic chemicals and kill these animals that are just trying to eat themselves. I can just plant plants that do their job that these predators smell and then they leave and I don't kill anything. I love this. This is one of the greatest things ever.
It is. It is the ultimate stack of functions. It's the ultimate solution to everything. This ground cover here, this is no maintenance. We've done in 2 years, if this were a lawn, we would have had to spend many, many hours a month to mow and manage this lawn. Now, if you want to have a fancy landscape that looks all buttoned up and tidy, then that's fine, right? We could trim this up, but what we're allowing is nature to just do her thing, and it's no maintenance. That, to me, and to a lot of people, that's a really big deal. In fact, there are about 50 million acres of lawns in the United States alone. The lawn is the physical foundation of humanity's enslavement. When we convert half of our backyard lawns and our city parks and our schools and our prisons to food forests, we solve the majority of crime, we reverse childhood diabetes and illness, and everybody wins.
And you're taking something that not only doesn't contribute to your life, it's reducing, it's a liability. Like we said, it's costing you money to maintain that lawn. It's not giving you anything back. This is such an important thing. And I want to add too that even if someone's like, this is a great idea, but my neighbors would kill me, or my husband's not on board, perhaps, Jim, they could just do a food forest in the section of their lawn. Like, okay, keep the front of the house if you really want to keep it a lawn, nice with the neighbors, but do a food forest in the back or something. Like, let's find the solutions rather than worry about what everybody else thinks.
Exactly. Like, again, this is like a 20-foot circle. We could have 30 different food producing plants in that one area, like we do right there. It's so logical. Now, other thing I'd love to get into is some of the bigger structures that we are putting in place to actually create mass adoption, right? Number 1 is awareness. Number 2 is influencers. And then number 3 is when the influencers organize around the message. So we have brought together a council of 12 world changers. People like Theo Fleury, the hockey superstar, Olympic champ, and gold medalist and Stanley Cup champ, who led his team on multiple occasions, who is now a trauma expert, right? Trauma, often systematically government-induced trauma, is one of the root causes of human suffering. And then Pat Miletich and Dr. Will Spencer, who were just here last week, and they have a soil fertility program that blew my mind. These guys are global treasures. Pat Miletich was a 5-time UFC world champ. Not only did he become a superhuman, toughest man in the world, but he then coached a dozen other world champions, right? So he knows how to create this stuff. And him and Doc Will Spencer, another global treasure, they have this product that literally eats heavy metals and glyphosate. It's a living biodynamic system with over 1,000 different microbiome. And it'll eat the toxins and the heavy metals, the glyphosate, the Roundup, and all the craziness. And on the other end, it will poop out fatty acids that are bioavailable. So it's the ultimate turning the problem into the solution. And then we've got John Baxter, Healer of the Year, and Lisa Mollison. Bill Mollison was the founder of permaculture. His wife, Lisa, is now the steward and a lifetime dedicated person to the spreading of the science of permaculture. And she also holds all the Permaculture Institute's assets. So we've got all of these people, Marjorie Wildcraft, and so many more. and Joel Salatin. So
Joel
we've all
Salatin,
come
yeah.
together. Yeah, another superstar. If you want to know anything about how to raise cows and how to use your land, especially large scale, in a regenerative way, he destroys the climate change narrative by proving that you can actually harvest and use cows to create a carbon sink within your soil. So we have all the solutions, and we're coming together. We're creating a platform that will serve as the foundation of the new economy. It will all be based in voluntarism, and we're going to demonstrate to the world that there is a better way.
And that it's coming from the people. All change and revolution in the history of humanity has come from the bottom up, from the people. The answers are not going to come from, your vote. I hate to say it, but it's going to come from the people, our own action. So the solution to anxiety is action. It's intelligent action, and you present solutions and strategies. The solution and the strategy. We're not just talking fluff in the air. So, Jim, I know we got to close. Action items for us. What do we do? What do we get started to take some action?
It's springtime. Take a breath. Enjoy life. Serve somebody. Ask your question, who can I serve today? And maybe that's a compliment. Maybe it's, start wherever you start. Start where you are with presence. This idea that the present is the gift from God. It's the real deal. And then start planting seeds. If you would like to actually design your landscape to be productive, then we must compost the fiat, right? The dollars that we have, a lot of people have their money in BlackRock, which, by the way, is not only the name, it's the intention of the entity. Take your money out of the systems of destruction and enslavement and create your own Garden of Eden in your own backyard. Help us put food forests in schools, prisons, city parks. And when we raise up the most suffering among us, everybody wins at scale. So start at home, and then when you have excess, reinvest it wisely into serving our communities.
Such an important point, everybody. I say this a lot on my show because, to quote Joel Salatin, he talks about, the real assets of the future, guys, are not your 401k. They're not the money in the bank. They're not your investments in the stock market. They're not really anything that has to do with the dollar. It has to do with, do you have skills? Can you fix things or know people who can? Can you build things or can you grow things? So invest in real tangible skills and people and abilities that are going to contribute to your life, like food, water, able to build shelter, or your own marketable skills so you have value and contribution. This is where the future is going. And I love this, Jim. You are part of the solution, my friend.
Oh, thank you so much, Amy. And by the way, everybody's invited to come visit us at Galt's Landing in Central Florida. It's
I'm taking you up on that, my friend.
Yay!
Wow.
Yeah, come. We have Airbnbs. We're on a private 400-acre lake. There's a runway to our east. We're going to be world leaders. Will be coming here. I've already met with 2 presidential candidates, and we're going to be demonstrating the solution and then scaling it globally with your help.
Yes, and I'm a big part of doing everything I can to help you. Jim, Galt's Landing, is it near Orlando? Where exactly in Florida is that?
It's 40 minutes from the Orlando International Airport.
Okay.
So it's very easily accessible. We're at the end of the road. We've got the cattle pasture out here, the beehives, the pond, the lake. It's really a special place.
How many acres you got?
We have 51 acres and about 3,000 feet of lakeshore. We've got the only dock on a 400-acre lake, and I'm
got a choice place. And how many homes? How many communities?
We have built so far 11 homes, 3 of them still under construction. And by the way, we are not complying with. We are inviting the government to do it a better way. We are not doing it under their jurisdiction.
I love it. You guys are totally self-sufficient. You produce your own water, food, and energy. Once again, demonstrating this is very doable, everybody. Don't drink the Kool-Aid. Okay, so you can go to my website, amyfournier.com, go to recommended products, scroll down, find Food Forest Abundance, read about it. You can schedule a info call with one of Jim's designers just to see, like, this is my situation. Can you guys help me? How much would it be? Is this a good idea so I can empower myself and my family? And if you decide to go forward, make sure you use my coupon, FitAmyTV, save you some money. And Jim, any final thoughts?
Just thank you. Thank you to everybody listening to who's being part of the solution.
Awesome. Okay, you guys, let's do this thing together. Jim Gale, thank you so much. Everybody, we'll see you next time on Awakening Aphrodite. Would you like to support my mission to help empower people all over the world to be all of who they truly are? If so, please subscribe to the show, leave a review on iTunes, and share it with a friend. And if you're looking to take immediate action to align your energy and optimize your health, visit amyfournier.com. Thanks for listening to Awakening Aphrodite. Let's awaken her together in you. I'm your hostess, Amy Fournier, and I already can't wait to be with you again and for you to hear what I have planned for the next show.
Thanks for listening to Awakening Aphrodite with Amy Fournier. To learn more about Amy, check out her website, amyfournier.com. That's amyfournier.com. You can also check out Amy's live and on-demand virtual fitness and yoga classes, and sign up for her newsletter to receive a free mini ebook of 3 of her top tips for making holistic health a lifestyle. Again, that's amyfournier.com, and get your ebook sent to your email immediately. Connect with Amy on the daily on Instagram at FitAmyTV, FITAMYTV, and watch many of the podcast episodes and subtopic clips on her YouTube channel, which is also FitAmyTV. Enjoy, and we'll see you next time on Awakening Aphrodite.